So what's the difference between practicing 5 minutes a day and 20 minutes a day? Those two numbers, 5 and 20, may even sound a little on the small side when you just look at them on their own. Can 5 minutes a day really make a significant impact on your playing? And then if so, what are those extra gains that you get by ramping up your practice time to 20 minutes or more? We're going to look at exactly what I do in a typical 5-minute practice routine. We're going to take something I haven't worked on for a really long time just to make it completely raw. I'm going to leave all the mistakes in. It's an exercise from my book, From Practice to Performance. Signed physical copies like this, if you want to dig deeper into this material, are available in the description of the video below. You can also get physical copies from Amazon. They ship worldwide, and digital copies from my website, yannickgwizdala.com. Everything is linked below. Let's dive into what 5 minutes a day feels like. I will say that it's the consistency with which you do this or any practice that is probably the biggest contributor to any gains you see in your playing. Now, let me explain the exercise. It's 2 triads. I'm taking one minor triad, in this case, C minor, and I'm taking one major triad, a whole step up, D major. So we've got C minor and D major, and I'm breaking them up. I'm just using 2 notes from each triad. So the root and the third, then the root and the third, then we go to the first inversion. So 3, 5, 3, 5, and then 5, 1, 5, 1. And so on up the instrument. And then we have a little button on the end, a little phrase to end the exercise. If I feel like I'm getting comfortable enough with this shape in this first 5 minutes, I may well expand it to the next exercise in the book. It's using the same harmonic material and concept, but in a grouping of 5. So I play 2 notes from the first triad and then 3 notes from the second. And we go first inversion. Phrase on the end. We may or may not get there in 5 minutes. So let's set a timer. I use the regular timer in my iPhone here, and try and stick through the entire 5 minutes and feel how long this is, like how long it really feels. Like I said, by the time you get to 2, 3, 4 minutes, it's going to be, wow, have I been here a year? And if you can't stick it out all the way to the end, just check the timestamps below, go to the next section, and I'll break down what it is I've just done as we ramp up to 20 minutes and compare the 2. Definitely trying to go slow here. Clarity of note is really important. And because it's been a while since I've done this, I'm really digging into what the fingerings might be. And where all my position shifts are. Which ones are the cleanest? I feel like I need to go slower. I didn't like the 2 bars on the first finger. So bar and then 3, 4. That feels clean. The switch was not clean. The position shift again. There we go. I just sort of laser focused in on the destination. That one. Just working on it, so it's not that I remember it, it's that I can't possibly ever forget it. Okay. I'm also trying to stay very disciplined. And I'm not moving around the neck anywhere else. I'm playing other ideas. And we're only just over halfway through. I really feel like I've made progress. Okay, can I dovetail? No gaps. Take a quick stretch break right there for the left hand, and now I'm going to challenge myself to do it 4 times in a row with no gaps. Okay, 4 times in a row, no mistakes and no gaps. Now maybe I will try expanding to the 5, pattern of 5. Yeah. Made a mistake. Definitely not comfortable. But not far away. I don't think that was the right time, so I'm going to go back. Check in with the original idea. Whoa, and there it is. Okay, did you last the whole 5 minutes with me through there? I really hope you did. I hope you felt how much I was able to do in that time. Now, what I didn't get to in that 5 minutes, I didn't get to other keys. That's something I would sort of try and plan out these days. I say to myself, okay, if I'm working on something new, I get maybe a day or 2 just playing it in one key, really getting the fingering down. Maybe that involves a bunch of different tempos just to make sure I'm able to play relaxed at a higher tempo and make sure everything's super under control at the low tempo. Then with the goal of working on this idea for maybe 4 or 5 days total, depending on how it goes. You know, if it's not getting into my playing, I'll have to extend the goalpost, have to put it back a few days and give myself more time. But say it's 4 or 5 days, you know, the first couple of days, just the technique, just the fingering, just the relaxation, the right intent to approach it with, then it's expanding it through the instrument, 12 keys. So maybe by day 3, I can start running it through the cycle of fourths, putting myself on the spot right here because I haven't been working on it. But that's the kind of thing I would do, and that's how I would be spending my 5 minutes, slowly ramping up the intensity over a series of days, starting really simple, seeing that progression through day 1 through day 2. By day 3, maybe giving myself the chance to expand into different keys, and maybe by day 4 or day 5 is when I would expand into the pattern of 5. But the important thing is to listen to my body, listen to how it's going, be really honest when it comes to moving on to the next stage, when it comes to ramping up the pressure. Use the voice recorder in whatever device you have, record yourself over those first 2 or 3 days, listen back and really be honest with what it is you hear. Do you hear good time? Good sound? Do you hear relaxation? Do you hear that great intent with which you're approaching the music? In which case, fantastic. Move on to the next thing. Ramp up the intensity a little bit. Expand the idea. Go to the pattern of 5 or whatever the next step is for you. Do you hear mistakes still? Do you hear missed fingerings? Do you hear, transitions that aren't quite clean? Don't be afraid to add more days to the program. Put the goal of getting to, the pattern of 5 in all 12 keys at a bunch of different tempos. Put that 10 days away if you're not hearing the progress right away. And in a very short amount of time from working on just this simple idea of 5 minutes a day and using just one idea in that practice routine, you're going to get this amazing feel for how you learn and how you progress and how long it takes you to get something under your fingers. Don't kid yourself. Don't try and guess. Use the cold, hard data of listening back to yourself being recorded, making sure that you're really sticking with the amount of time that you set out to do, and making sure you're really sticking with the one idea. Don't try and practice 10 things in that 5 minutes. Stick to the one thing and see massive gains right away. So let's close out this video by talking about what the next level is, what 20 minutes or more per day could do for you. You've already seen that 5 minutes is a massive gain maker in terms of just fluidity, relaxation, and the overall intent with which you approach learning and practice. 5 minutes a day actually simplifies everything because there isn't a bunch of time to waste, and you can really only get to one solid idea in that time. 20 minutes starts to bring more questions like, oh, well, if I could do one idea in 5 minutes, could I do 4 ideas in 20? I don't think that's really the case. I like to split it into maybe 2 things if I only have 20 minutes, or maybe I like to start off with the initial idea and then get to the more complex one, which would be the pattern of 5 in this case. But almost no matter how much time you're spending with the instrument, all of the principles that I talked about with the 5-minute practice block, they still apply. It's about being honest with what you hear when you record your practice. It's about being honest with how you feel when you sit with the instrument. Are you totally relaxed? Are you playing fluidly? Are you happy with your playing? And if you're not, don't be hard on yourself. Just change the parameters slightly. Dial things back, go back a step or 2 or 3, slow the tempo down, decrease the amount of time you're practicing potentially. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but if you're getting overwhelmed and you're getting frustrated in a longer practice block, purposely decrease that down to 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes is done, you're done with it. You don't have to stress out about it anymore. Like I've said throughout the video, consistency is the key. Whatever you do it every day and do it with the intent of playing with great time, great sound, and not working on too much information at the same time. Again, if you want to dig into any of these style of exercises, I think my book From Practice to Performance is kind of perfect for these small snippets. If you want to work on a 4-bar phrase for just 5 minutes a day and get something new technically, get something new harmonically, melodically into your playing, I think there are dozens of exercises in here that really fit that protocol in a great way. You can get signed physical copies. I ship them worldwide. You can also get physical copies unsigned, unfortunately, from Amazon, also worldwide. You can get digital copies at my website, yannickgwizdala.com. Really appreciate you spending some of your insanely precious time with me, talking about music, learning about the bass, and I'll see you on the next video.